They told you that being alone means you're failing. They made you believe that if no one is clapping, you must be doing something wrong. But that's a lie built by weak minds who crave constant validation. The truth is simple. Alone doesn't mean abandoned. It means chosen. It means you've separated yourself from the noise, from the average, from the people who don't have the stomach for greatness. Comment focused if you're walking this path alone, but with power. Lions hunt alone. Warriors train in silence. Masters build in shadows. You are not behind. You are just out of sight. And that's where real power is born. While others seek applause, you're seeking results. While they talk, you're transforming. Alone is where the noise stops, where clarity sharpens, where distractions die. It's where the real work begins, the mental work, the emotional grind, the sharpening of your soul. Don't fear this season. Embrace it. This isn't punishment. This is preparation. You're not weak for walking alone. You're focused. And the world hates that, because the moment you stop needing them, they lose control over you. When you're alone and still rising, still grinding, still unshaken, that's when they get nervous. You don't need crowds. You need commitment. You don't need praise. You need progress. The fewer voices in your ear, the clearer your path becomes. Greatness demands solitude. It demands sacrifice, and most will never pay that price. So let them misunderstand you. Let them gossip. Let them call you distant, cold, selfish. Let them project their fear onto your purpose, because when the results show, you won't need to explain a thing. You want to know why they're uncomfortable with your solitude? Because your focus threatens their comfort. Your silence exposes their noise. Your discipline reminds them of everything they're not doing. People don't fear your isolation. They fear what you're becoming inside it. The world is addicted to distraction. It glorifies busyness, celebrates noise, and mocks stillness. But focus is dangerous. Focus doesn't need validation. Focus doesn't ask for permission. And when someone operates with quiet, ruthless intention, everyone else starts scrambling. They don't understand that isolation is your forge, that you're not hiding, you're building, that you're not avoiding, you're refining, you're cutting away the extras, stripping back the layers of ego, fear, and dependence. That's the kind of self-mastery they can't even comprehend. Weak minds crave constant company because they can't face themselves. But strong minds, they stare into their own flaws and sharpen them into weapons. Alone time is gym time for your soul, and no one will clap for it until it's too late to stop you. Every champion has walked through a season where no one understood them. Every visionary has spent nights staring into the dark, sculpting their legacy in silence. You're not cursed, you're called, and the call is never broadcast on loudspeakers. It whispers in quiet places. You don't become powerful by being surrounded. You become powerful by becoming undeniable, with or without applause. Stay locked in, keep sharpening. They won't see it now, but when the moment comes, your silence will become the loudest thing in the room. There comes a moment in every serious person's life where they realize not everyone can walk this path with you, and that's not loss. That's alignment. Growth demands separation. The higher you climb, the thinner the air gets, and not everyone is built to breathe it. You weren't meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out. And that means detaching from the groupthink, the drama, the constant emotional noise that slows down your mission. You don't owe anyone access to your energy. Not friends, not family. No one. You have to protect your mind like a fortress. That means being ruthless about who gets your time, your focus, your presence. This is war. And in war, you don't take tourists on the battlefield. If they're not building you, they're breaking you, period. Alone doesn't mean lonely. It means purified. It means your circle got smaller, but your vision got sharper. It means you stopped wasting your loyalty on people who didn't even respect your boundaries, and you finally chose yourself. This season of isolation, it's a spiritual cleanse. It's not rejection. It's redirection. God, life, the universe, whatever you believe, is cutting the noise so you can hear what actually matters. And the weak will call it losing your way, but it's the only way forward. So walk away. quietly, powerfully, without looking back, because your destiny doesn't need an audience. It needs your full, undivided focus. And if that costs you company, let it. You don't broadcast every move when you're serious. You don't need to prove anything when your actions are louder than their opinions. Real power is silent. It moves without warning. It builds without applause. It arrives undeniable and unstoppable. This is why you've been pulled into silence, not to shrink, but to sharpen, not to retreat, but to prepare. Every day you wake up and keep going without attention, you're building something they won't be ready for. And when it hits, it won't need an introduction. Loud people are empty. Quiet people are calculating. While they scream for attention, you're stacking discipline, knowledge, energy, purpose. They waste time chasing validation. You're building something that will demand respect without asking for it. Stop explaining your vision to those who can't even see themselves clearly. Stop trying to get support from those who can't carry their own weight. You weren't meant to be understood in this season. You were meant to be focused. This silence is your sacred space, where your identity stops depending on followers, likes, or approval, where your confidence is built from within. You are becoming something that doesn't flinch when ignored. It thrives in it. So let them sleep on you. Let them mock the quiet. You stir not here to be seen. You stir here to be undeniable. And when it sits time, the same people who laughed will beg to know how you did it. And your answer will be simple. I stayed focused. As soon as you choose focus, they'll call you cold. The moment you stop explaining yourself, they'll say you've changed. And they're right. You have. You've stopped chasing distractions and started chasing destiny that threatens people who never had the courage to grow. They'll say you're distant, that you don't care, that you think you're better than them. But none of that is true. What's true is you've realized your time is sacred and your energy is limited. You're not better than anyone. You're just done being less than who you were born to be. When you stop being available to everyone, you start becoming available to your purpose. That shift, it's uncomfortable. Not for you, for them, because they were used to the version of you that dimmed your light to keep them comfortable. That version is gone. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand you. While they gossip, you're grinding. While they circle the same patterns, you're breaking cycles. You are not obligated to stay small just because it makes other people feel big. Discomfort is the tax you pay for transformation. And most people aren't willing to pay it, but you are. That's why you're alone. That's why you're quiet. That's why they don't get it, because they're still trying to please everyone while you're trying to become someone. And when it's all said and done, they'll wish they had your focus. They'll wish they had your courage. But by then, you'll be too far ahead to hear their regrets. The moment you choose solitude, life will test it. The moment you say, I'm done with distractions, every old temptation will show up in new clothing, not because you're weak, but because the world wants to see if you're serious. The invitations will come. The noise will get louder. People will pop up just to pull you back into comfort, and you have to stand unmoved, unshaken, because every time you say no to what no longer serves you, you say yes to the future you're building. They'll dangle fake friendships, empty validation, surface-level comfort, and you'll be tempted. But remember, comfort doesn't create greatness. Focus does. And most people never build anything lasting because they can't walk away from what's familiar. This is where your strength is tested. Not in the gym, not on the stage, but in the quiet moments when no one's watching, when you could scroll, call, wander, but instead you choose purpose. That choice, that's power, that's discipline. That's the difference. Every day is a war between the version of you that wants to rise and the version that wants to relax. The world will reward your weakness with pleasure, but it will reward your discipline with legacy. You decide which prize you want. So lock in, refuse to be shaken. You weren't called to be distracted. You were called to dominate. And that requires a focus so sharp, so unshakable, that even your doubts grow silent in its presence. You want power? Learn to master yourself. You want freedom? Learn to tell yourself no. Discipline isn't punishment. It's precision. It's the art of saying not now to pleasure so you can say forever to purpose. That's the mindset of the focused. Every powerful person you admire didn't get there by chance. They sacrificed. They got up early, stayed late, said no when it hurt. They chose sweat over sympathy, silence over noise, purpose over popularity. And now the world calls them gifted. But really, they're just focused. Discipline isn't about motivation. Motivation fades. Discipline remains. Motivation is emotion. Discipline is commitment. It's doing the work even when your feelings beg you to stop. It's showing up when no one's clapping, when nothing's working, because you know what's coming. The focused don't wait to feel ready. They act. They execute. They move, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable, because they know ease creates softness. Pressure builds strength. Discipline is freedom in disguise. When you control your habits, you control your future. When you master your urges, you unlock your power. And when you stay consistent, the world has no choice but to move around your momentum. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being relentless. Show up, lock in, stay sharp, because the one who masters discipline becomes the one no one can ignore. If you've ever felt like no one gets you, good. That means you're stepping into a level most people will never reach. Isolation is not just about being alone. It's about becoming whole. It's where the false identities fall and the real you emerges. You find yourself in the silence. You meet your fears, your doubts, your wounds, and then you defeat them. Alone is where you face the truth, where you stop being who they wanted and start becoming who you were designed to be. In the crowd, you perform. In the silence, you transform. That's why most people never evolve. They're too busy putting on a show. But you went dark. You cut the lights, and in that darkness you started to shine. You no longer need to impress. You need to build. You don't chase. You attract. You don't beg. You create. And everything you're building now in silence will one day speak so loudly they'll forget they ever doubted you. This version of you, grounded, locked in, self-aware, only comes from walking alone. There's no shortcut, no hack, just you, your pain, your discipline, and your purpose. That's the real path to power. So if you feel misunderstood, misplaced, understand this. You're not lost. You're early. You're not behind. You're ahead. Keep going. Stop waiting for them to understand you. Stop shrinking to fit into places you've outgrown. You don't need permission to evolve. You don't need applause to rise. Growth isn't a group activity. It's a solo mission. They won't clap for you when you change. They'll criticize. They won't cheer when you elevate. They'll question. That's not your problem. That's their fear talking. Every time you break an old pattern, you break their illusion of who you were, and that scares them. Let them call you selfish. Let them say you're different. You are. That's the point. You're no longer chasing approval. You're chasing alignment. You're not running from people. You're running toward purpose. That difference is everything. You weren't born to stay the same. You were born to shed, to stretch, to grow. And that process, it will cost you comfort. It will cost you connection. But what you gain in exchange is priceless. Freedom, clarity, direction. The old, you can't walk with the new you. You have to let go of versions of yourself that only knew survival. This new chapter is about thriving, about building, about rising. No more explaining, no more asking, just moving. You don't owe the world a warning. Evolve in silence, execute in silence, and when you arrive, they'll recognize it, even if they never say it. Here's the truth. No one tells you. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to push you. You either create your own momentum or you stay stuck. The focused understand this. That's why they move even when nothing is moving around them. Momentum isn't magic. It's discipline repeated until it catches fire. It's choosing action over excuses. It's showing up tired, showing up uncertain, showing up broke, but showing up anyway, because movement creates energy, and energy creates breakthrough. You can't wait for motivation. You create it. One step at a time, one disciplined day stacked on top of the last. There is no lightning bolt moment. There's just consistency, pressure, and time. The world moves for those who refuse to stop. This is why most never escape mediocrity. They keep waiting for perfect conditions. But the focused, they build in the storm. They plant in drought. They train in the shadows. And eventually the world sees what they already knew. They were born for this. Your current effort is creating your future pace. Every rep, every refusal to quit, every lonely night grinding, it's building a force that can't be reversed, but it won't show up overnight. It's forged in the moments no one sees. So ask yourself daily, are you waiting or are you working? Are you doubting or are you building? Because if you're focused, the answer is always motion. You think being overlooked is a curse? It's a weapon. Let them ignore you. Let them underestimate you. That's fuel. That's freedom. While they're watching someone else, you're working. While they're distracted by noise, you're mastering silence. The spotlight is a trap. It flatters the ego but weakens the edge. Let others crave it. You crave growth. You crave the sweat, the grind, the obsession that turns nobodies into legends. You're not here to be seen early. You're here to be remembered forever. Being overlooked gives you space to experiment, to fail, to rise without judgment. It gives you room to build without interruption. Most people break under attention, but you'll rise from obscurity, unshakable, undeniable, unbreakable. You have nothing to prove, but you have everything to build. Let them keep talking. Let them keep doubting. Every minute they underestimate you is another minute you're gaining ground. When the results come, you won't need a speech. Your success will scream for you, and every person who ignored you will have no choice but to watch. So wear the silence like armor. Let invisibility be your invisibility cloak, and keep striking until the world can't pretend not to see you anymore. This is your reminder. The ones who win don't need company. They need conviction. The ones who rise don't wait to be seen. They become so powerful the world can't look away. Alone isn't weakness. It's weaponry. Silence isn't a pause. It's precision. Stay alone if that's what it takes. Stay focused when everything pulls at you. Stay locked in when the world begs you to open up and dilute yourself. You weren't made to be average. You were made to be dangerous, to comfort, to laziness, to everything that wastes time. This is how legends are born. Not in crowds, not in noise, in discipline, in darkness, in relentless solitude. You sharpen your mind like a blade. You master your emotions like a warrior. You move like a ghost, unseen, untouched, unstoppable. Every day you stay focused is another day the old version of you dies. Every temptation you deny makes you stronger. Every time you choose purpose over pleasure, you raise the standard. Eventually, there's no going back. You've become the thing they swore you'd never be, untouchable. So protect your energy. Guard your solitude. Don't let anyone with small vision distract you from your high calling. You're not walking away from people. You're walking toward your power. If you've made it this far, drop a 100 in the comments. It shows you are part of the 1% that's improving every single day.